This is reading lesson number 14. This video is for you if you struggle with reading. I am April McMurtry, a reading specialist, dyslexia specialist, and the developer of the Learn Reading program, and I'm going to teach you how to read in 100 videos. It is important that you start with lesson 1. These lessons build upon each other, so it's important to watch them in order and start with lesson 1. Here's how these lessons will work. The first 10 lessons are taken from my Begin Reading packet. Those worksheets are linked next to the number 1 in the description. Lessons 11 through 90 are taken from my Learn Reading program, and those lessons are linked next to the number 2. Lessons 91 through 100 are taken from my adult reading class, and that is linked next to the number 3 in the description. If you do not purchase the worksheets, that's perfectly fine. I want to teach you right here for free, but you will need a piece of paper and a pencil to copy the words down. So push pause and get a piece of paper and pencil, and then come right back. I will have 2 videos for you each week, usually. You are free to follow along with me here for free, or you can join me in my adult reading class at any time, especially if these words are a little easy for you. And there I can help you a little more personally. And again, that link is next to the number 3 in the description. If you would like an online tutor, then I have recommendations for those in the description as well. Okay, let's get started. So today we are working in lesson 14. Our sight word is they, and the sound or the phoneme that we are working on is schwa. The schwa is represented by this upside down E that you see right here. That is the symbol for the schwa sound. And the sound of schwa is just a very lazy sound that sounds like a short U. You just drop your jaw in a very lazy manner. You don't engage your tongue or any muscles at all. The sound for schwa is simply And as you can see, our grapheme is A, and A will say sometimes, that we'll get to in this lesson. The sight word, if you have the worksheets, is they. They, as in they are coming over for dinner. So if you have the worksheets, go ahead and practice all of these on this page. Okay, so our new grapheme is A, that makes the schwa sound when it is almost to the end of a longer word, and the last letter or 2 or 3 is a consonant. Again, a vowel is A, E, I, O, U, and Y when it is not the first letter. Every other letter is a consonant. So when A, which is a vowel, comes almost to the end of a longer word, so it has to be a multi-syllable word, more than one syllable, a longer word. When A is almost to the end and the last letter or 2 or 3 is a consonant, meaning not another vowel, then that A will make the schwa sound and say So if you have the worksheets, I want you to say when you come to the A on this page. And then practice all of the other sounds on this page, and then meet me over on the new phoneme page. If you have the worksheets, go ahead and separate and isolate each sound and find the dot that represents the sound, as in compass. If you have the worksheets, it would look like this. K, p, s. You would separate each sound and mark where you heard the sound. Infant would be I, N, F, N, T. Just a heads up, the sound, the schwa sound, is really difficult to hear. So that page might be kind of hard. But for you who are just here with me online, I want you to count how many sounds are in the word pocket. Pocket. Push pause if you need to. Stretch out that word, separate the sounds, and count how many sounds are in pocket. So in pocket, we have p, a, k, e, t. 5 sounds in pocket. Now, if you wanted to make it longer, count how many sounds are in pocket knife. You have the 5 sounds in pocket, and then there are 3 sounds in knife. N, which is represented by the KN, that's a silent letter pair. I and F, and then there's a silent D on the end of that word. So pocket knife has 8 sounds. If you didn't count 8, then I want you to pause the video and do it with me. P, a, k, e, t, n, I, f, until you can hear all of those sounds. Okay, so down here is where we're all going to start working together on our new words. But to go over the last one first, these are the words that we worked on last time, and I wanted to go over these extra practice words with you, these last 4 down here. They're getting a little long, aren't they? But not too long. We have the tools to figure them out because we know what the E's are going to say based on where they are in the word and the 2 letters that come right after it. So this word is dependent. Dependent. This word is pretended. Pretended. Detest. Detest. And elected. Elected. You can tell that this E says E because there's another vowel 1 or 2 doors down. Both of these E's say because the next 2 letters are consonants or a consonant and a space. So you have the tools to figure out what these words are. So that was our extra practice from last time. This week, we're going to work on that A, which is coming almost to the end of the word and is making the schwa sound, like right here. We know that this A is going to make the schwa sound, so that symbol is an upside down E. We know that this O is going to say O because one of the next 2 letters is another vowel. So the sounds are T, O, T, A, L. Total, total, total. The schwa sound kind of disappears into the letters next to it, into the sounds next to it. That's why it's a schwa. It's a very difficult sound to hear, but it's important that you know what's happening. So when you go to read a word, you'll know, oh, that A sound is saying and it's just going to kind of disappear and blend into the sounds next to it. So here we have another O because one of the next 2 letters is another vowel, the tap 2 rule. We know that O is going to make its long sound. And we know that A, that comes almost to the end of the word, when there's a consonant or 2 or 3 at the end, says makes the schwa sound. Those sounds are L, O, K, A, L. Local, local, local. All right, you're doing great. I'm going to let you do the rest without me, but I'll mark it as you work. Okay, this I is going to say I because the next 2 letters are consonants. There's always a because. So this is how we can learn to read differently than we did before because we are understanding the why things sound the way they do. We can figure it out because we're smart. So the I is going to say I. It's going to make it short sound because the next 2 letters are consonants. This A is going to make the schwa sound and say because it is an A that comes almost to the end of a longer word and the last letter or 2 or 3 are consonants. So the sounds are I, N, L, A, N, D. Inland, 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 like you're going to move inland away from the beach. All right, next word, I'll be quiet while you work. Okay, we know that this I is going to make it short sound because of the tap 2 rule. We know that this A is going to make the schwa sound because it's almost to the end of a longer word and the last letter or 2 or 3 is a consonant. So the sounds are D, I, S, T, A, N, T. Distant, distant. You can kind of hear how that schwa is just kind of disappearing into that end sound. Distant. If you really fine tune your ears or your hearing, you can hear it in there, but it's difficult. Okay, these next 4 words will be your extra practice, and then I will come back next time and just confirm that you read them correctly. If you have the worksheets, here are your vocabulary words. They follow the same rules, and you have just as much opportunity for success in reading these words as you do any words, because I'm only giving you words that you have learned the tools to know how to read. Here are your extra practice words that you can cut up and use as flashcards. And here are your sentences so you can begin to read these words in context. Oh, and here's a story. Oh, that's right. Now that you're in beginning in lesson 11, you now have stories in your lessons, in every lesson. And the story will have only the words that you have learned how to read. There will never be a word that you will be forced to guess. You've been given the tools to read every word in these sentences and in the stories. Okay, my friends, you are doing fantastic. Keep it up, and I'll see you in the next lesson. By the way, there might be a little pause or a little break before you get the next lesson. I'm going in for some facial surgery, and I'm not sure how soon I will be able to begin re-uploading videos, but I will as soon as possible. So if there's a little pause or a little break in the videos, don't worry, I will be back. Just stay tuned. See you then.